I most certainly did.
Okay, want to call the meeting to order? Steve, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thanks for showing up tonight. Looks like we got some good information here. We got a light crowd, so we will film it so other people can see it. Okay. Item C, roll call. Madam Secretary.
Jizz. Pioneer Town, Steve Bardwell. Present. Yucca Mesa, Tom Ziegert. Present. Landers, Dawn Johnson is excused. Joshua Tree, Mark Lundquist.
Here.
Flamingo Heights is still vacant. Desert Heights, Pat Flanagan. Here. Wonder Valley, Teresa Seitz is excused. Morongo Valley, Gail Swearit. Here. Copper Mountain Mesa, Mary Helen Tuttle. Here.
Thank you. Okay, number D, adoption of agenda.
I motion. Second.
Any other discussion? Nope, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, so moved. Approval of February 12th, 2018 minutes. Do I hear a motion?
Motion.
Okay, second, I hear any discussion? If not, approved. Okay, memorial adjournments, we have none. Public safety, county fire, we've got Scott Tuttle here tonight.
Hello, Mr. Tuttle. No relation, yeah. He's my friend, he's just my friend.
Scott Tuttle, County Fire, no relation. All right, I'll start with some call stats. Is that on? Can you hear? Here, I'll hold it a little closer. How's that? Johnson Valley had 22 calls. Joshua Tree had 121 calls. Landers had 39 calls. Pioneer Town had 2 calls. Wonder Valley had 15 calls. And Yucca Mesa had 42 calls.
I don't think the PA is working.
No? How's that?
Yeah, that's working. That was working.
Yeah?
Those 2 words you said.
How's that? Did everybody hear all the call stats?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And as usual, most of those calls are medical aids. With the time changing recently, last Sunday, I just want to remind everybody to change the batteries in their smoke detectors. We always remind everybody, when you change your clocks, change your batteries. Also, wildland season is right around the corner. It's going to start getting hot and dry, so make sure you maintain your clearances around your properties. And then lastly, I just want to publicly recognize Battalion Chief Mike Snow. Yesterday was his last shift. Many of you in this room know Mike. He is officially retired after 36 years in the fire service and 14 years here in the Morongo Basin. So he'll be missed, and we wish him well in retirement. I'd be happy to answer any questions. All right.
Thanks,
thank you.
Scott, and give Mike our best.
I will.
In retirement. Is he moving to Arizona?
That's what he told me this
That's what he
morning when he was
told
out
me.
on his
Okay.
way out the door.
Could have guessed that one. Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Are you, thank you. Fire permits
Yes.
for people to have outside fires. Is that still no permits?
I believe burning is open now. Yeah, I believe it's open.
It's open?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can come to the fire station and get a burn permit.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I appreciate it. Okay, Morongo Valley CSD, who have we got tonight? Do we have Gary? Is he here? Yeah. Gary Yearsley?
Chief Gary Yearsley from Morongo Valley.
Yeah, turn the mic on.
Anyway, CAL FIRE. You turn it off. Turn it on. Okay, I'm not schooled in that.
Got to do a SOP on it, I guess. Anyway, Grant Malinowski from the county did put out last week that the burning can continue now. They've lifted the ban. And we've had a pretty eventful last week with a big fire, residential fire behind our station, which our guys did a real good job. Our engine has been out on maintenance and warranty work, so they got to see how they could do with a brush patrol or brush engine. So we responded to that coming from a medical aid and still saved the back part of the duplex, and it's still livable. So our guys did an excellent job with help from other agencies from around the area. And then we had a Sunday morning early accident down by Indian where one of our brush patrols was hit. They use it to block their accidents that they stop on, and a car came too fast around the corner and hydroplaned and ran into it. So it's in for repair. So we're down to one, and so we're going to have to rely on our brothers to help us out if anything more happens. But we got everything taken care of as of right now. Our calls have been 23 EMS or medical and 8 fire, 8 traffic, and then 6 others with 45 total for the month. Any other questions?
Thank you, Gary. Anybody from CAL FIRE? What have we got from CAL FIRE tonight? Anybody? No? Okay. CHP, I know that they were a little short of personnel tonight. And last but not least, Captain Travis Newport.
Is it working now? Okay, good. Okay, my name's Captain Travis Newport. I've been going around to the different community groups, obviously trying to introduce myself. I've been up here since January 20th of this year. I took Captain Jeff Joling's spot when he retired. So I come from down the hill. Most of my career was spent in Sheriff's Homicide and here in the Morongo Basin. So I've actually worked here every rank except for lieutenant, and I worked as a detective as well as a team supervisor or sergeant in Sheriff's Homicide for about 8 years. Just want to share some statistics with you real quick here. Specifically, I want to talk about King of the Hammers, since we've been notifying all the community groups about what, everything that's occurred out there and what the end result was. So King of the Hammers, the final numbers, we're just north of 50,000 people out there. We had 40 drug and alcohol citations and 38 warnings. We had 12 driver's license violations with 51 warnings. We had 10 equipment violations with 130 warnings, 3 firearm violation warnings, 10 firework warnings, and 2 of those were actual citations. We did 2 hazard citations and 11 warnings. 3 reckless driving citations, with that was 23 warnings, and vehicle registration violations, we had about 34 of those with about 104 warnings. 38 safety violations with 79 warnings. We had about 26 medical calls. We did have 1 death. The death appears to be natural, does not appear to involve an OHV vehicle accident. And we worked hand in hand with BLM and fire as well as Marine Corps base. So this was one of the first years that we had our new digital radio system. We're really trying to get people to understand how great this system is, in the sense that we're actually able to put county entities with state and federal entities on the same channel. So with that, it was much smoother for us, and we actually had direct contact with BLM during law enforcement incidents. So obviously safety was #1 concern for the officers and deputies out there, and it worked out very well. For the most part, we did not have many complaints this year regarding King of the Hammers. We think as far as CHP did on the traffic portion on Highway 247, they did actually very well. Upon speaking to some other community groups, I'm finding out that everybody was pretty pleased with the dust levels, even though it was dusty, don't get me wrong, but everybody seemed pretty pleased with the amount of traffic and the dust levels that were out there. We did have a few OHV complaints. Don't know if they directly related to King of the Hammers or not, but it's possible that they probably were. With that, we haven't had a real busy last month out there in the county areas. So we've got 5 grand theft autos. We have 6 burglaries. We have 2 regular grand thefts. And then we had 3 reported rape calls, which the rape calls appeared to all been victim suspect relations. They knew each other some way or another, so it wasn't just a random person. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, this last weekend, my wife and I were out in Hondo Wash, and I think we sent you an email to this effect, and we encountered some people that had set up a target range across, that actually went across some of the BLM routes out in Hondo Wash. They were shooting from one side of the wash across to the other side to some targets they had set up. At that time, we were a little unsure as to whether or not this was within the jurisdiction of the sheriff's department, and we spoke to, made a comment to BLM out in Barstow about this, and copied you as well on this. So I guess I'd just like to, we do find we have up in our Pioneer Town area, adjacent to the buttes, Black Lava Butte in particular, we hear a fair amount of automatic weapon fire there on weekends. And I guess my question is, we should then call you when we hear those sort of things and observe those things, because that is not, it's not, only shotguns are permitted within this area as I understand it.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Now, as far as whose area it is, to be quite honest with you, my deputies have the direction. We're going to go out there. I don't care if it's BLM land or not. We're going to drive out there. Just, to me, safety is number one. We'll figure all that out later, but we'd like to first try to catch the people that are doing it. So if you guys do call in, or I recommend you do call in if you have illegal shooters or you believe are illegal shooters out there. Our deputies will definitely go out there and see what we have. Now, obviously, Ms. Flanagan's been working closely with us with some of the groups out there in Wonder Valley. You know, I can say that we have a lot of brand new deputies up here at the station, and we've really been working on training them up and getting them to understand the rules and regulations and the rule of law as it goes to firing weapons in our area. We think we're doing a lot better with that. You know, you had, these are things that aren't typically taught in the Sheriff's Academy, so you know, when it comes to federal versus county land, it's something we're trying to get them to understand. So we're definitely, I think we're doing better with that. And one thing I do ask that you do is, by all means, if you're willing to call and have us come out, if the shooting's already done and the person's gone, we recommend or we ask that you guys at least help us with our investigation by making yourselves a victim. And by saying that, I mean that you're willing to sign a citizen's arrest form so that we can pursue these people legally, especially if we know who they are. When it's a misdemeanor not committed in our presence, we do not have a legal right to arrest somebody or cite them. Please understand, a misdemeanor citation is the same thing as an arrest. So the law is very clear with that if we have a misdemeanor, we cannot arrest them without your assistance. Now, if it's a felony, let's say they do have a full automatic rifle or whatever the case may be, and we do some investigation and find out who they are, we can certainly charge them with that. It's just the difference between, you know, say the person with that AR-15 that shouldn't be shooting out there and versus a shotgun, basically.
Okay? No, yes. Excellent work in Wonder Valley.
Thank you.
I want to say that I was part to that conversation with Katrina Simons, who is the field manager for Barstow, and she made it absolutely clear that the county, when it comes to shooting, the county has the tops. You don't have to worry that you're in any way stepping on BLM's foot. They totally, it's your field.
Yes, and that's pretty much the direction I gave my deputies. I don't really, when it comes to these weapons and people firing off rounds, if somebody's going to get hit with a stray round, I would much rather get ahead of that and try to stop that before anything horrible like that can happen. So for me, and that's discussions we've had with BLM. It just basically came down to, we're gonna enforce the law the best way we possibly can, and we'll figure it out later. If we're in the wrong, court jurisdiction or whatever, we'll figure it out. But we think we're okay. So as far as that goes, we'll continue to respond. If the thought is whether or not it's in BLM land or not, remember, we are your emergency response resource. So I consider somebody shooting an automatic rifle an emergency response in my sense, not in the sense that we're going to drive with our lights and sirens on, but we're going to get there as quick as we can, simply because I don't want a bunch of stray rounds flying around out there. So as far as I'm concerned, and my deputies know now, we will be responding. If it is BLM land, we'll figure it out. We'll get done what we need to get done, and as long as that person is taken care of, we'll be good. Yes, ma'am. Am I supposed to call on him, or do you want to call on him?
Either.
Okay.
In terms of the hammer, what's it, Hammer King?
King of the Hammers, yes.
It seems to me that the amount of incidents that you reported were pretty low for 50,000 people out partying, right?
That's correct.
And I just wondered if you had an idea of the percentage of how it would relate to the general population. I thought it was cool. But a second question is, I wonder if you have a report about Section 6
Section 6,
in last month.
what is Section 6? Can you let me know what that is?
Our little piece of public lands there that are under jurisdiction of Joshua Tree. What, pardon?
DCBA or something?
Yeah, all right.
Say that again?
There's
Desert
been-
View Conservation Area is the place
Yeah,
where
that's the technical.
there's no overnight camping allowed, and people from the park have been overflowing into it. And I guess 2 meetings ago,
We talked about the sheriff going there.
the sheriff was here, and I don't remember who.
Yeah, we've got the gate pretty well secured, Blake, and bolstered on each side, and I will fill you in on Section 6, Captain, in the next couple of days on what that is. The sheriff, prior to you coming, had done some incident reports up there on overflows and campfires and such, so I'll fill you in on the Section 6. It's
Oh, that'd be great, yeah.
pretty well under control now, but you should be aware of what's going on out
It
there.
would be great to have a little report each month to see how well we're doing, because if I'm not mistaken, isn't there friends who are working on securing it and monitoring it, right?
People that lived
Yeah.
on the road.
Yeah,
They had discussed it, yeah.
yeah, so we'd like to see if, how our efforts are doing, I think is a good idea.
Yeah, I've got a sad note on that. Unfortunately, Jim Williams, the one that bolstered the gate, the day after he did that, passed away. Yeah, so, I haven't,
The little man
yes,
here?
yes. So he was a great help, but the gate has been done and we haven't had any incidents. It's clearly marked now as a day-use facility only. So I'll get together with the sheriff and we'll go over that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you mentioned you had a bunch of new deputies up here. Does that mean numerically more, or have others rotated out? Because I know Jeff was always struggling to get more
Yeah.
personnel for the station.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not more. I wish it were, but it's not. It's just, this station is what we consider an outlying station. So, deputies do come out here. They do come out here to get out of the jail quicker. They do about their 2 years out here, and then they try to go back down towards the valley. We go in waves. We sometimes, like on my list right now, I've got several people that live up here, which will be great. Once I do get them up here, they'll stay up here for some time, and we'll be able to keep that consistency. It's just it goes in waves, and I was one of those people when I first started up here as a deputy who lived down the hill, and I left. After a couple of years, came back, left again, came back, left again. It's going to happen up here. With that, we just do our best to try to stay up with the field training officers and the sergeants and make sure that people are well trained enough.
Okay, and the second thing is, in the last year, there's been a couple of incidences of, like in the new park in Paradise Valley, where some of the deputies were engaging with some of the young people, playing basketball with them, engaging in a more non-professional but community-oriented manner. And have you talked to them about, have you thought about that? Have you talked to them about that? Or, because it seems to be remarkably effective and good PR for you.
Yeah, it is. That's actually something that's kind of going around nationwide right now. I'm sure you guys have probably seen, the media and different outlets, and depending on which outlet you watch, There's a lot of negative outlook on law enforcement at times. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's negative. With that, you'll see a lot more of that type of interaction. You're going to see law enforcement officers across the nation doing that kind of stuff because they want the citizens to understand that they're not just here to take people to jail. They're not just here to mess with you because you have expired registration. They're here for your safety and also to be somewhat of a role model for the kids to look up to. Oftentimes we hear parents tell kids, well, you better be good or this officer's going to take you to jail, when they're walking through a school or whatever. Well, you can only imagine what that does to a young child's mind and, a younger person especially. So you'll see that quite a bit. You'll see them going out there and actually interacting with kids more and playing basketball, that kind of stuff.
Great, and welcome to the station, welcome to the Basin.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be back.
Any other questions? Okay. That's it. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our public safety reports. We'll go on to H. And from the county is Cynthia Reza. She's County of San Bernardino Workforce Development Business Services. And I just want to give her kudos because in January she helped us set up a job fair which we hosted at our conference room in the county building. And I think we have one job that was given out to somebody's husband on this council.
It wasn't given to him. What the heck?
Was he wearing a sign that said,
No, he just showed up with his hair combed and his shirt tucked in.
Well, that did it.
I mean, come on, and what people in the basement showed up without their damn teeth, for God's sake. Come on. It's an opportunity to make money, people. There you go.
Okay, well, I've asked her to, yeah. 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 We got them out of your hair, didn't we? We got them out of your hair for a day. Anyway, Cynthia's got a short but a very informative presentation on what their department does. And actually, they're local here in Yucca Valley. So as soon as this camera winds up and we get a picture, we'll let Cynthia explain what they do.
This is a presentation. My name is Cynthia Ressa. I am the Business Services Representative for the Morongo Basin. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay, I'll start again. I am the Business Services Representative for our Morongo Basin. So that includes Morongo Valley, Yucca Valley, Joshua Tree, 29 Palms, Landers, Wonder Valley, and we go all the way out to the Cadets Farm, so all the way to the Arizona border. So we have a very large region that we take care of, but my job is to serve our county businesses. And we want to be your most valuable resource for businesses in the county. All of our programs are federally funded. They are designed to support our businesses, and they are also designed to support the local workforce. Just like Mr. Lundgren said, we want to thank the supervisor's office for offering their location so we could offer the job fair here. And 64 individuals in the Morongo Basin were hired it was temporary work, but we were still very proud that we were able to assist with that. So all of our programs are federally funded. These funds support our businesses and our workforce.
That mic still doesn't seem to be working.
Oh, it's me. I turned my head to look at the program. I'm so sorry. I'll try to be better. Okay.
you want to put that in your hand and then you can.
Oh, yes, that would be a lot easier. Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So this is how we've kind of divided it. The high desert is the Victorville area, and it starts at Johnson Valley, I believe, and goes all the way out to Barstow. And the East Valley encompasses San Bernardino, and our area. There are actually 8 business services rep. I am just one of the 8. Let's see, business services. We directly engage businesses. I don't know if any of you are business owners, but if you're a business owner, you may see me walking into your business offering you services, if we can help you in any way. We have an on-the-job training program which allows you to hire your own hire. It's a different OJT program than most. You hire your own choice of who you'd like to hire. Then the county reimburses you 50% of your new hire's wages for up to 90 days. And that's just designed to offset your training costs. So the county is paying you to train your own employee. So let's see. We have 3 job centers. None of them are in our area. We have 1 job service center, and this is where job seekers can come in and receive services. We have counselors there where they can receive one-on-one help with resumes. We have recruitments available at all of our centers. Let's see.
Where are they?
Our closest center to us, it's where I actually report to, is in the east. It's called the East Valley Job Service Center, and it is in San Bernardino off of Briar Road. Do you know where Tippecanoe is off of the 10? It's a few miles from there. And that's 70 miles away. So that's our closest job service center for job seekers to use right now. We do have one in Victorville on Bear Valley Road, and we also have another one in Rancho Cucamonga. So there are only 3 right now. And so some of the services that I'm going to be talking about would all be available at each of these centers and not up here, because obviously we don't have a service center up here. But we do offer B2B development, which is business-to-business development. So as we go out and speak with the businesses, sometimes we can refer businesses to one another. Maybe a manufacturer is looking for a rubber distributor, and so sometimes we make those connections for them. And some of those federal funds, the training funds for building teams, and I talked about the OJT, the on-the-job training reimbursement, 50% of the wages for up to 480 hours. It can be quite lucrative. There are some caveats to that. Each employee does need to be making a minimum of $12 an hour. They need to be working 32 hours a week or more, and they must be in need of training to qualify for the program. So now, workforce development can also provide customized training to businesses. They can come into your business, kind of do an assessment, and see how they can help your business. So we have customized training available also. We have an incumbent worker training, which is like the OJT, the on-the-job training, but it's if you have an individual within your business who you're thinking of bumping up to a new position, and they will be making an additional wage and have a different title, the county will also reimburse you 50% of their wages for up to 90 days and up to 480 training hours. And it isn't that we just do $12 an hour. We have many OJTs that are at $52 an hour, $33 an hour. Sometimes brand new nurses coming out of school are in need of a lot of training, so this is helpful to doctors' offices and hospitals in the area. We have a lot of OJTs going on in the area right now. I'd say we have about 20 going on, so we would love to assist any business. If you know of anyone, please pass our information along to them. We'd love to assist as best we can, and we'd love to keep the monies up here in our Morongo Basin. Okay, we also have preventive layoff aversion. This is really quite nice. We have several specialists, BSR, who are just like me, but they are layoff specialists. They will come to your business, say you are a large business, and unfortunately, either you've gone out of business or you're having a mass layoff. They will come in and put on presentations for your employees who are being laid off, and they'll provide them with consulting services. They'll also help them with, it's on the next page, I can't think of it. Unemployment insurance benefits. So they provide everything that the laid off individual will need to get started in a new career. So they also provide job preparation and training, opportunities for the newly laid off, child support help, and they have resources on how to keep your home, because you won't be making the same amount of money that you did before. And that's called rapid response. I'll go back to where I was. Consulting services. We also provide consulting services to businesses. Many businesses might need help with maybe updating their program manuals, updating HR manuals. They may need just a startup assistance. If they're starting up a new business, we offer all different types of consulting services. So if you know of anyone in need, please let me know. We also have workshops. These are free workshops for any San Bernardino County business. And there's a flyer that I had on our flyer table over there. These are really wonderful. They're all free to any San Bernardino County business. And the most popular workshop that we offer, I believe, is the Human Resources Wage and Hour. So this is helping businesses with any of the new laws that have come out. We also provide handbook help. Well, let me just read some of the titles of our workshop. Social media, developing a social strategy. Human resources, employee handbooks. Social media, building and leveraging your audience on social media. Human resources, wage and hour. Social media, creating a unique voice on social media. Diversity and inclusion in the workforce. Social media tactics to help grow your following. Analyzing success on social media. And human resources, new policies in the workplace. So if you're interested, let me know. We'd love for you to sign up and attend these. Unfortunately, you may have to travel. They are not in our area. Many of them are in Victorville, some are in Ontario, some are in Redlands, Upland, and San Bernardino. Rapid response. We kind of went over rapid response already. And we can provide testimonials if any of you are interested in any of our programs. And I said this is very, very short program. I'm so sorry. This is all I have to offer you, but we're here, we're local. My office is at the Yucca Valley TAD office. And like I said, if any of you are business owners, you may see me stopping in to your business on any occasion. So I'm not a very skilled presenter. It's not something that I do on a regular basis, but I thank you for your patience. And are there any questions? Yes, sir.
Are you in the county building?
I'm not in the county building. I'm in the TAD, which is the Social Services Building. The TAD office, it's on Pima Trail in Yucca Valley behind the movie theater.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Yes. So they just rent me a little cubicle. So I really don't have a huge office. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Thancy. You did a great job. Thank you. And there's flyers on the table of multiple topics that she left for us. Thank you very again, Cynthia. Very nice.
Projector. I'll just hit buttons till it's not lit up.
Okay, our next item is Resolution MB-MAC-019, and urging the Bureau of Land Management to refrain from making changes to the land use allocation in the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan and requesting the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors consider a similar resolution. Presenter is Pat Flanagan. Pat?
Let's see.
So what is this all about? I made it last meeting that we were here, I gave some background. The county Board of Supervisors at their August meeting requested, when they adopted the renewable energy and conservation element, that one section, 410, be returned to the Planning Commission because they had not studied it. So that was supposed to happen, and it was supposed to take this exactly as it is and bring it to the Planning Commission. 7 months later, that has not happened. And so our request is that it should happen as quickly as possible. Section 410 is the section that protects communities, especially those with community plans, from having utility scale solar put into their communities. Since that time, we now have about 20 square miles of utility scale solar planned for Lucerne Valley and Newberry Springs. All of this is on soils that when disturbed, when the plants are removed and the root systems are removed, will blow in the wind. And this is exactly the dusty air that we will breathe, because those wind currents come right down here as well. So it will make it very impossible for people to be living a happy life where that is, then there's no excuse for this. So we will be, many of us will be going to the county building at 10 in the morning and waiting our turn for the comment period to talk to the Board of Supervisors, asking them to proceed with suggesting Land Use Services do their job. As well, the DRECP, or the Desert Renewable Energy and Conservation Plan, which is a federal plan for BLM land, has been reopened, and at the behest of our president. And we're not quite sure what's going to come from that, but we certainly would like the county to protect its own in this letter, and so it needs to, there's going to be land opened for solar somehow on the development focus areas and other areas. I think this is probably confusing for many of you because I don't have my PowerPoint, but let us just say that it's taking, that the opening of the DRECP took us by surprise, and now we have to defend our lands. And when up talking to Katrina Simon at the BLM office in Barstow last week, she's told us of the first application that they have, and that's over 1,000 acres. And this is all just sort of, maybe 2 miles north of the 2 schools in Lucerne Valley as well. So not so good. So we have come up with a resolution, and Steve is going to read that.
Yeah, if I may add that section 4.10 particularly, with all the other sections we'd like passed, go to the Planning Commission for a recommendation for the supervisors to pass, will also protect this area. It has everything to do with protecting any solar for any additional solar for coming into the Morongo Basin. So with that, Steve, would you mind reading the resolution, please?
Yes. This is Resolution MB-MAC.
Your mic.
Resolution MB-MAC-019, urging the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors to direct Land Use Services to immediately send renewable energy policies 4.10, 4.10.1, 4.10.2, and 4.10.3 to the Planning Commission and adopt these measures as they stand to protect desert communities against impacts from renewable energy projects, and also to request that the Board of Supervisors submit a scoping comment for the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan, DRECP, asking that there be no additional land allocation for renewable energy development on public lands in the DRECP amendment.
Thank you. Okay, that's the gist of the resolution, and thank you very much, Steve, I appreciate it. Okay. Yes, we do. Do I hear a motion to approve this resolution as written?
Second?
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Aye, unanimous. Okay, let's move on to the next item. Reports from the MAC. Steve, have you got anything from your area?
Yes, there's a couple of things that I want to talk about. I spoke about the shooting that we've been experiencing up in the Pioneer Town area. You've heard about that. I understand that the Pioneer Town is soon to be getting water up there. The plans for constructing a water pipeline up to Pioneer Towns have been released, and a request for proposals has been made. So apparently there was a good turnout of contractors looking to make a bid on that. I also want to talk about the question of short-term rentals. There is still the short-term Airbnb rentals, as it were. Regulations have yet to be put into effect, any sort of an ordinance. And with this recent article and condition where these people here in Joshua Tree were arrested for child endangerment, apparently. It's a housing question. There is a housing problem here up in this community, and the short-term rentals are a part of the solution. So I really would like to, we'd like to see that the county get on that and get this, get a ordinance in place, at least we can start discussing it. And I would like to also say that it's important to make comments to the BLM about this DRECP. Go to mbconservation.org and you'll find some real good guidelines on how to go about making comments on this really complicated process. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Tom, you got anything?
Yes, the big thing for us on the Yucca Mesa is coming up on April 7th. That's a Saturday. Is our Mesa Madness, not to be missed. It's a craft, arts, and whatever show. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on that Saturday. Vendors are wanted and certainly welcome, and it's only $10 for an outdoor space, $15 for an indoor space. And if you're interested as a vendor, you can call 760-668-8697. This will be held at the Yucca Mesa Community Center. And just on a personal note, I really am proud of all the people in the Joshua Tree area who have come out to help the Kirk Pankow family in housing. That is, it's a poverty issue more than anything else, I think, and a lot of us do. And it's not just, and that was just one out of hundreds of families that are living like that throughout our county. And yeah, we have to find ways to care for each other. And so I'm really, really proud of what's going on in Joshua Tree. So I just wanted to say that too. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah, that family has been on our minds. I'm familiar with the property, and I know that there was some outreach and some questions on why they couldn't build on that particular property. And unfortunately, the infrastructure isn't there. It would cost too much to do that. I don't believe there's any water. The power would be overwhelming as far as price to run power to that. So I'm really tickled that they finally found somebody to give up a house at a reasonable price, and I see the volunteers have stepped up and they're doing a great job getting these people. Hopefully they can get their kids back as soon as possible. As far as Joshua Tree goes, we've been involved now in the ATP, which is the Active Transportation Plan. I think Rebecca's been involved in it. We've had walk audits through all the schools. I think 10 of them were involved at least. And basically what the ATP plan is the Active Transportation Plan. Once we develop a network of roads and formalize it, then we can go out to bid, as I've mentioned before, and hopefully get some grants and building some more bike trails. On that same note, I don't think I'm giving any away in the county. The county did receive, after about 4 attempts of a grant application, the bike trail between the old Joshua Tree School and the new one was funded for $1.1 million. It'll probably take a couple of years to go through the process and go to RFP, but that will be a new bike path all the way to the new school, which will work wonders for the kids that need to get from the lower part of Joshua Tree and the highway all the way up there safely on that path. So we've been working on that. We've been working on the audits. Part of the grant requires that the council or the team that is running the ATP system out there is formulating it for formality, is obligated to go out in public outreach and actually take citizens out and have them walk the areas that they're going to put these trails on and point out any issues they think they have. So they get the public involved in it, which we think is great. I attended the Joshua Tree one today, and Rebecca, I think you were on one at one of the other schools. It's a very interesting process. They have all the maps and they have all the information there at hand to take your input and actually try to formalize the system. And once that's done, then the state is in an act right now. And thanks for your tax gas, because that's probably going to go towards the ATP system. At least if it's not repealed, it's going to be, we understand that about $300 million from that extra gas tax and registration tax will be coming to Southern California, and about $200 million going to the north, because we have a bigger need down here. And they actually mentioned the active transportation plans have to be in place before funding. So the grant possibilities for this looks good, and hopefully within the next few years we can start building some of these bike trails and have some safe paths to school, and not only to schools, but all around our area. And from Joshua Tree, I think that's about it. Gail.
Gail Swart, Morongo Valley. We are having our big fundraiser. I'm giving you a big heads up on May 12th for our fire department. The Firefighters Auxiliary puts on a casino night on the 12th, and it's a lot of fun, and the funds go to help our fire department. And I'll remind you again of it next month. It's at our park in Morongo Valley. If you have noticed, the road between the Yucca grade and the Morongo grade, the improvements have gone in, and they have put in a lot of those reflective buttons now that really make it easier to drive at night. So we thank Caltrans for doing that. And I'll mention to you that eventually there's going to be a light. I mean, the light's there at Bella Vista. They haven't turned it on yet, but just be aware there is going to be a light there, and it is going to, you may have to stop and watch for that light so you don't get into any trouble there.
Can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
Why is it there?
That is a really good question. That is because Caltrans, it had something to do with people coming down the hill, and that was the best spot to put it, because a lot of people in Morongo Valley ask the same question. And I think it'll be advantageous because it will help slow down traffic or stop traffic so that people can get in and out of their driveways that are along 62 in both directions. So that might help. But the light's only going to go on when people want to make a left-hand turn onto, I guess it's Bella Vista, or if they're coming out into traffic from Bella Vista, then it'll, but otherwise it won't be on. So it's, I don't know, we all asked in Morongo why they put it there. But,
It's a traffic calming device.
yeah, I guess. A traffic calming device. That's the best explanation I've heard so far. I'd also like to invite people from all communities to come to the Morongo Valley Fire Department. Our new Fire Chief, Gary Yearsley, and our Battalion Chief, Tim Peel, and we also have Jim Brakebill as our Deputy Fire Chief. We have a wonderful program there now. We're getting a lot of reserves from the college program. They're all great, really enthusiastic, and they're doing a wonderful job. And our fire station now is open for anyone who wants to stop by and see what we're doing and see the facilities. I think I'm not speaking out of turn, Chief.
No, you're doing great. Keep going.
Okay, yeah, so if you're in Morongo and you want to see the fire station and talk to the people there, please do stop by. Thank you. Huh?
They may even let you clean an engine.
Oh, they might, you never know. Thank you.
Mary Helen Tuttle, Copper Mountain Mesa. We are going to host the JT Zine Festival. Does anybody know what that is? Those are little tiny magazines. Apparently, people do it. And they are vendors, and there's going to be, there's like going to be 100 of them. Yeah, it's going to be something. I don't know. It's going to be, I know when it's going to be. It's going to be on Sunday, April 1st, which is Easter Sunday. It's going to be at our community center and at our, in our old fire station building. And it apparently was going to originally be at the JT Sportsman's, but they double booked because they're going to have their spring gem show there that weekend. So anyway, the JT Zine, I was calling it Zine, I've been corrected. The JT Zine Festival is going to be April 1st, and it's just little publications. Might be cool, I don't know. April Fools, yeah, haha. I'm going to make a plug here. Some of you may know that I am a Joshua Tree Rotarian, a proud Joshua Tree Rotarian, and I am a co-chair for the Morongo Basin Rotary's Food Drive, and you are going to see Rotarians at the 3 staters up here in the Basin on Friday, March 30th, and we're going to be in front collecting peanut butter, beans, stuff like that. We have a grocery list. We'll take money. We distribute it to everybody in all of the pantries in the Morongo Basin. So anything you give us is going to stay up here. I make sure of it. So I just had to plug it. Anyway, thanks.
And don't cross her. I think I've already given my report. Did I say I'd been to the Mojave Water Agency this morning to hear their report from staff to the technical advisory team on, and the map over there is from that report, and it shows all of the solar that's in the area. I think 38 different projects. Go take a look at it. The map on the top, that little one, where you see the red, that is looking at the soils that they will be building them on if they were to be passed, which we're working not to have that happen. Those all have the high propensity for aeolian dust. So making that connection between air quality and the soils, it just somehow doesn't get made. It's 2 different chapters that don't come together. So, and then finding out the amount of water that it takes for the projects that are already built in Lucerne Valley. They use 50 acre feet for 200 acres, and they could have used 70. And then you want to, now we have 12,600 acres. The amount of water that will be required is astronomical. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Pat. I appreciate that. Okay, on to public comment. Rebecca Unger.
Rebecca Unger from Joshua Basin Water District wanted to invite everybody to our annual Water Education Day, Sunday, March 25th from 1 to 4 at the Water District offices. It's a big event. We always add new things. A lot of our favorites will be there, like the permaculture people. Also, Deputy Chief Jim Brakebill from Morongo Valley, he'll be there with his fire technology class. And his demonstration fire truck, kids can crawl all over it and play with the axes and the picks and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. We also have this year Krista Wargo. She is the art teacher over at Yucca Valley High School, and she'll be there doing art in our demonstration garden. And Mark mentioned the active transportation program. They're going to be there this year, handing out water bottles to tie it all in. But it's a fantastic program. Mark, thank you guys so much for bringing that here. There's money in it, and they can actually do things to help us with bike paths, walk paths, safe paths to school and everywhere else. A lot of people out here are transportation challenged. Either they don't have a car, if it dies, they can't afford to fix it. Sometimes they have license problems, whatever, but we definitely need these paths. And also we have a lot of bike tourism out here. And if we had safe routes along the highway, just be so much better for all the people that come out here. And also, thank you, Pat, thank you, Mark, thank you, all of our directors here for your work with the DRECP and getting this resolution to the county. Thank you guys so much. It's so important. It means so much to us.
And you're not biased, are you? Because you're on your technical advisory committee for the ATP, are you? Yeah.
It's a great program. I advise you all to get involved. Ask Mark, he'll get you on the list.
Thank you for serving. We appreciate that. Okay, next speaker would be Jane Jarlsberg. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Correct.
Thank you.
Jane Jarlsberg, I live at 6800 Sunset Road in Joshua Tree and love it. My concern lately has been affordable housing. It's on everybody's minds. I've been monitoring conversation on Facebook recently, and actually before this incident with this unfortunate family separation, I had started talking to people about putting together a forum or a public get-together where people who have a variety of knowledges and experience in the housing field, from being homeless to owning homes to perhaps managing of rentals. I've been talking to a lot of architects, a lot of different people who are concerned about this and want to see things helped in Joshua Tree in particular. And I'm also going to be talking to the county about it and find out what kinds of things are already going on. But my idea was just to pull together a forum of people who would converse with locals in an evening get-together. And I've written an article that was published in the Chamber newsletter, and it's been, it was in February and in the latest one about my ideas, and I've gotten a fair amount of contacts as a result of me talking about this. So I'm hoping to share it with you folks and see if there's some way we can tie it into what you're doing here. And then one other concern of mine is the speeding on Sunset Road in Joshua Tree. And I've also, as soon as I moved here in June last year, it became a concern of mine because I'm facing that street. I'm about 20 feet from the street, my front yard. And I started researching what the speed limit is, and I found out because there's not marked, it's 55 miles per hour. I have to do something about it. So anyway, that's one of my things in the future too.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Any other comments or questions? Okay. With that, we will adjourn. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.